gymnastics. So I was kind of doing a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Soccer, and then it kind of, as the years go on, you kind of, one sport will go away, and then you kind of focusing on a few, and all the way up through high school, it was basketball, football. I played baseball in middle school, but basketball always just seemed to take reign just because everybody else played it, and you want to be good at it. You see, some of your favorite athletes, the Michael Jordans, and you want to be like them. So I think, when I really started to the love was always there, but when I really started to say, all right, I want to be as good as possible, and this was probably elementary school, playing Far East Recreation Center here in Columbus with some of my closest friends at the time, and just playing in those leagues, and then after league games we go out and we play in the driveway and we play with the kids in the community. So it just kind of takes that form, and year after year the passion becomes stronger, the love becomes stronger, and you want to just keep working at it. So
keep working at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so from high school, bring us to that level that brought up to you being. I'm quite sure you had some other colleges that was looking after you, but what made you decide to go to Ohio State? So let's start from the high school level.
All right, so from high school, and I went to Richmond Heights High School, small school up in the Cleveland area, and it was kind of always me and my closest friends, we kind of always wanted to stay together. So at the time, and it may have been a little bit of naivety, but at the time, we weren't really thinking about being recruited and things like that. It was more so we have fun playing basketball together. We've been playing for years together. We're going to stay here and play. We weren't really thinking down the road.
So you weren't really thinking as far as, okay, well, we want the top college
Not at all.
to go to that. So basically for the love of the sport in itself.
For the love of the sport of itself, and for the love of just playing together. We had been playing together for so many years, and we didn't want to let that go. And as we started freshman year, we were still all playing together, and these were my four closest friends at the time, all the same age. We all keep in contact still to this day, and it was kind of just us going through high school, just trying to not really, like you said, not really thinking about being recruited, but thinking about, all right, man, this is what we love to do. We're going to stick together doing it. This is what brings us together, and that's kind of how it started. Then as the the years go by, freshman year turns into sophomore year. I didn't play varsity freshman year, but I started varsity sophomore year.
Okay.
And then that's when things started to kind of move towards okay, let's think about college a little bit. When you start getting the letters, and you start getting the invitations to different camps and things like that, and I really started to kind of get bigger going into my junior year. I was getting letters from some D1 colleges, and I was getting attention from the local newspapers and things like that. My coaches were telling me this and this. I was trying to play AAU and things like that. So at the time, and then. That's when I really started to, really buckle down and think a little bit about the future and about what I wanted to do. Still didn't know much about the recruiting process and what needed to be done. I just knew, all right, you want to make it to the NBA, you got to play at the top colleges. So that was kind of my mindset. We weren't really given that, that blueprint of how to do it. We just knew what we wanted to do. And
ask you that.
Yep. So it was actually, we had finished the regular season of my junior year. We were going. It was the first practice. We had an early morning practice. It was the first practice right before our first playoff game, and we were actually scrimmaging another school. And it was probably about 9 in the morning, and going up and down the court, everything is normal. Then I just kind of, and my friends, I don't remember much of it, but they can probably tell you better than me. But they said they thought I was dancing because I kind of like wobbled a little bit, just fell over, head hit the ground. I was out for maybe a few seconds, then I came to, and I sat on the side for the rest of the scrimmage. But I didn't think too much of it at the time. I thought I probably didn't eat enough, or probably didn't drink enough, was dehydrated. And it was funny because I went home and I took a nap, and I found out later I obviously had a concussion from when I hit my head on the floor. But I was asleep, and my dad came in. It was about noon probably. He came in and he said, you going to sleep all day? And then I kind of got upset because I usually don't sleep all day. Saturday I'm usually out playing basketball, like you just mentioned. But I kind of got upset, and I said, well, I passed out today in practice, and that's kind of how I told him. He was like, what? And so he took me to the hospital immediately, and I was at the hospital for the rest of that day. I remember them running a bunch of tests, this and that. That kind of went on for, I want to say, a week or two, and then they kind of told me, hey, you got some irregularities in your heart. We're gonna run some more tests, things like that. And then that lasted for a couple months, I think. Just getting tests and in and out of the hospital, doing a bunch of different things, and they come to find I got this condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
Wow.
And so they found that, they put me on medication. I guess it worked for what they needed to see for me to be able to return to the court, and I got cleared I think about midway through the summer that year. So I wasn't able to play AAU that year, and junior year going into senior year, that's the last AAU season, so I missed a lot of that vital recruiting time.
Right.
But I was cleared to play, and I went on to have a really good senior year, first team All-Ohio, first team All-District, MVP of the conference and everything. But because I had missed so much time with AAU and playing at a smaller school, and not really knowing the ins and outs of recruiting, I wasn't getting those big offers that I thought I needed to get, to be a big time player. But I was getting smaller offers from local schools, some D3s, some D2s, but we used to always say, me and my friends, it's D1 or bust for us. And that was our mindset. And like I said, we were a little naive because we didn't understand that, there's good basketball at all levels. We were just kind of focused on, seeing the top recruits go to the big colleges, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, and then going on to the NBA. And that was all we knew. So I kind of made up in my mind, I wanted to go to Ohio State. I would come back to Columbus, my hometown. One of my good friends, David Lighty, who played up the street at Villa Angela St. Joe's, he was going to Ohio State. I didn't know the coaching staff or anything like that, but I thought, why not? Why not try? I know I can play at the level. It's just more I didn't have the exposure, beforehand. So I worked all summer for that, and got here to Ohio State and made the team as a true freshman. That was the year they went on to be runner-up in the national championship game with the Dad Five, with Greg Oden and all those guys.
Okay, so you played on that particular squad, right?
Yeah, so I made the team and everything. Started practicing with them, and 2 weeks after I made the team, they see the heart condition on my medical records, and they decide to run more tests, and that took probably 2 months. And by the time I got cleared by the team doctors, they had filled the roster spots, or the roster spot that I had made as a walk-on, and so I had to sit out again.
Wow.
And, so that was one of the most crushing things that I've had to deal with in my basketball career. Just because I worked so hard for it to get on the team, and the sacrifices, passing up the other schools and things like that, and then going through everything to make that team and to have it taken away like that, something that again is out of my control. That was probably one of the most crushing things, but I understood,
Yeah, because that was a wake-up call in regards to just putting more further alertness as far as on your heart condition that you have.
Yeah.
Because had they not, and you were still playing at a top level with that condition, it might have led to something. We won't even say tragically.
Exactly, and I mean, you hear, and I tell people all the time, and a lot of people don't know the name Hank Gathers, but I tell people to watch that video all the time because that's kind of what happened to me, just playing. And all of a sudden you just fall over, and a lot of guys, just like Hank Gathers, they don't recover from it, and and I understood it. I went through a tough period, but I understood looking back on it, like they have to make sure that I'm able to compete at this level, because this is obviously not high school basketball.
Right, exactly, it's not.
So and I understood that, and I was upset about it for a while, but I got over it, and I kept working, got back in shape, and they didn't have trials the next year. They had another big recruiting class coming in, so all the spots were filled. Didn't have them again the following year, so my redshirt junior year, they had spots. I tried out again. Obviously, I knew all the coaching staff and everything. So they knew me. They knew I'd been waiting. They knew I'd been around. I was always around the program, even though I wasn't on the team. So kept in contact with them and made the team again, and got to play 2 really good years. We went to 2 Sweet 16s, got 2 Big Ten championships and things like that. Big Ten tournament championships also. Got to play with some great players and see some great things. So in the end, it worked out. Didn't go exactly how I planned, but again, the end result was still the same. So.
But it led to what's happening now as far as with you now.
Absolutely.
So from what my understanding is, you were playing overseas in Italy. Is that correct?
I was in Spain.
In Spain, okay.
And it's funny because it's been I graduated 2011, so it's been almost 7 years. And after my senior season, so before my senior season, I broke my left foot. So I was out for a little bit of time, and this was at Ohio State. And then 2 weeks after my senior season, I broke my right foot. So I missed, and then during my senior season, I had kidney failure, double kidney failure, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. So I mean, it was like I said, Ohio State didn't go exactly how I wanted to. I loved every minute of it, wouldn't trade it. But after graduation, after dealing with the foot injuries, and I missed some camps that would have given me some exposure to get overseas right away. I missed some of those dealing with the foot injury and being a walk-on. I had student loans, so I had to start working right away, finding income. I couldn't do like a lot of guys. Who graduate, they go on, they play right away. They don't really have that kind of debt. So with me, it was I got to do something now. So after the foot injury, I kind of got into working here and there. I started coaching with the club teams at OSU. That's kind of how I got into that. And then, one thing leads to another. Years go by. You find yourself doing this and that. But I always knew that I wanted my story to be written a little differently. I knew, even with the time at Ohio State, as much as I loved it, I didn't get to play like I wanted to. As far as participating in games, things like that. Walk-ons, we don't. They don't normally get a lot of playing time. And with my injuries, my senior season was riddled with injuries and things like that. I missed a lot of that time. So I was still, I'm competitive as they come, and I was still looking for that, that kind of that closure, I guess you could say. So I knew, at one point I would get back into it. Didn't know when or how, but the opportunity came to me last year with this overseas kind of exposure thing. And I went over there and I did great. I stayed for about a month. And I had another injury over there, so I came back. But I told them I'll be back for this season, which I did. So I went over there in October, and I was working at Huntington. I quit my job. And I'm like, I'm gonna go do this. I gotta do this. It's something I gotta get this monkey off my back. I gotta go play pro ball. This is what I've always wanted to do. This is what I've dreamed about. I need to do this for myself. And so I went over there, got signed to a team in Madrid. I was there for maybe 3 days before I got the offer. Got signed to a team in Madrid, went and played the season, and it was amazing. Like, as far as the experience and what I needed for me, what I was looking for, I got everything I wanted. And I was in Madrid, Spain. It's a beautiful city and a beautiful country. And while I was over there, I got to see maybe 7-8 countries. So I being able to play, in that overseas environment, and being able to see the world and, get to play the game I love. I mean, I couldn't trade that, and I'm forever glad I did it. I know it's something that I needed to do, and, it's something I can't wait to tell, my kids and things like that. So it was exactly what I needed, and I'm glad I did it.
Now what?
You meet friends and you build relationships. There's so many other success stories other than the NBA or Division I college basketball that come just from committing yourself to the game of basketball. And I've seen firsthand working with the kid who isn't sure that he likes the game, and then he starts playing and he starts to build a passion for it. And lo and behold, he's making friends. And I love seeing kids build relationships just by playing basketball, because that's how we did it. And like I said, that's how we came up. We played. We didn't think about being recruited or anything like that. We played just because we love being around each other, and we love the game. And and I try to instill that in the kids I work with, that you don't have to have a super strong passion or love for the game right now, but if you enjoy doing it, stick with it a little bit, put some work in, and see what happens. And I think that's the platform that I wanted to create, just a way for kids to kind of come work on the game and let the game decide where they go. If they commit themselves to it, they're going to build characteristics that are going to take them far in life, whether it be, being professional, being on time, being punctual, learning how to talk to people. All these little things that are built just by committing yourself to basketball and working hard at it and being devoted to it, that will help them, no matter what they're doing down the road. So that's kind of what I started. When I did start, I started about a year ago officially. I would become. So I kind of let people, kind of dictated for me. You know, when kids would say, "Hey, I want you to work with my son," or I'm sorry, when parents would say, "Hey, I want you to work with my son," or "I want you to work with my daughter," you know, I kind of wanted to see what they wanted me to do. You know, and then kind of let it become whatever it was going to become. And that's kind of where it went. I started working with, you know, parents and families who just wanted their kids to be involved in some type of extracurricular activity, you know, and, you know, that's perfectly fine. They don't have to want to play basketball. They just want to be involved in something. And then I have, obviously, on the other end of the spectrum, those parents and families who want their kids to be the next LeBron James. And obviously, I love working with those kids, too. So I get both ends of the spectrum. I didn't want to name it like an elite basketball training thing or anything like that, because I think that can tend to scare some of the, you know, families off who just want their kids to be involved in something. So I wanted just to make a platform for all athletes, you know, just to come and to work on their game, give the game their all, build a love and a passion for it, and then see where it takes them.
Okay, and then you're also doing something for
here, or you have to get looks from these college coaches and things like that to be successful. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to create a platform to where athletes can train and work on their game, take basketball as far as they personally can, without kind of that pressure of being a top-ranked athlete or a blue-chip recruiter, things like that. Because I think there's a misconception, like I said, that, you know, if you don't make it as a D1 athlete or as a professional in the NBA, that you're a failure in basketball, which is not the case. And I'm a living example of, you know, if you give this game your all and you work on it day in and day out and you really love it, it's going to open so many doors from you outside of the sport. And I've seen that happen to where, you know, you may meet a coach along the way that wants you to be a coach, or you may meet somebody who offers you your dream job, or, you know, you meet friends and you build relationships. There's so many other success stories other than the NBA or Division I college basketball that come just from, you know, committing yourself to the game of basketball. And I've seen, you know, firsthand, you know, working with the kids. It's been great just to, again, working with the youth in basketball is always fun, but to work with them through this organization and to be able to, you know, to help kids and to see the joy on their faces when some of the players come by camps and clinics and things like that. I mean, you can't trade that for anything. So I've been able to build a lot of relationships through this program, and again, meet some more great people, and it's been great so far. We've actually I just did a clinic this past weekend, and we've got a few coming up here at the end of March and April, and then we start our summer camps in June. So we got another big summer ahead. We bought some of the camps and clinics down to Columbus also, so we'll have some of those this year. But it's been great so far. We're really expanding it, and we've got great feedback from it.
Good. Now, for your